Hey,
Hey man, how you doing?
yeah, doing pretty good. What are you up to?
Can you hear me with my non-Apple headphones?
Yeah, pretty decently.
Good. Apple
Yeah.
shit, man. I don't know. They've gone downhill, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the phones last a while, so I haven't bought a new phone in a while. But yeah, the big Apple headphones, those kind of went bad. I started
Trash.
using, yeah, I've been using bone conduction headphones. They're better for like ear air circulation.
Exactly what I have on right now. Yeah, it's nice to not have
Yeah.
shit in my ears or covering my ears fully.
Hmm. So you're using
No,
those as a mic as well, the
yeah,
bone
no,
conduction?
they're sporty
Yeah,
too. So I just wear them at the gym. I wear them wherever I go, and
right.
there's nothing in my
In the
ear.
shower, yeah. It's fun to wear them in the shower too.
I can. You can't with the six
Oh, with
hundred,
some
seven hundred
models.
dollar pair. Can't fucking
Right.
do anything with those. They don't have any water resistance, nothing. And there's no
Mhm.
mic. Like the mic is all muffled and stuff. I got
Mm.
two for going over to Well Simple, and I gave one to my girlfriend and one to my uncle. I doubt my uncle's even opened it, but my girlfriend's trying to use it, and it's she can't. I'm like, just talk to your phone. Don't fucking use your headset because it's garbage.
Yeah, most just like Bluetooth wireless in general is not panned out. It's very like disorganized and glitchy and now there's so many audio sources. Like even games, like sometimes like Discord's been good for a while. Sometimes we'll play games where you there's like in-game audio and there's always a bit of a task of like switching to in-game audio and then Discord does some nice like noise canceling things too. Games sometimes don't.
Hmm.
And then also like level audio levels is a whole nother thing to try to figure out when like if I'm recording music or something or dialogue for a game.
I really value the noise canceling feature, but then again, it's like, I don't know.
Well, I think it makes us like more like once you stop using the headphones, we become like more sensitive to noise.
Yeah, and I find noise
It's kind of one
stressful.
of those things, yeah. Yeah.
Here's an idea. Just get away from the noise. So it's like, I was hanging down in
Mhm.
Toronto and going to the gym around like this sort of more built up area, and there's fucking trucks going by, tractor trailers and cars and people honking, ambulances going and helicopters whirling and planes and jets
Yeah.
going across. And I'm just like, it's so fucking noisy that it's stressful for me, and it's hot as balls. At
Yeah.
least it was, a couple weeks ago. And I'm just like, when I add in all the inputs from the environment, I'm just like, no wonder my body's chronically stressed. Like I just,
Mhm.
it's a shitty climate. It's a shitty environment. So anyway, I'm hanging out at my family house for about a month. I, paid some rent for a room because that's
Mhm.
how I roll, and it's a bit more peaceful here.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you were telling me about like the setup process last time, but that's good that you seem to have like settled in. And if it is more peaceful, that's nice. Like, is it
Yeah,
away from the core of the city? I imagine.
yeah, it's suburbs, Scarborough. Like there's a nice park to
Yeah.
walk to, like a school park. There's a provincial park not too far. 3 Costco's about 25 minutes away in every direction.
Three.
Cinemas. Yeah, good old
I like
capitalism.
walking to a cinema, like a good 1 or 2 hour walk to a cinema, and then you sit like in the air conditioning and get like a pop or something. That's a
Uh,
nice afternoon.
yeah, that requires you having to book in advance. You want to
Mhm.
I got rid of the Cineplex. Those fuckers want two or dual authentication. I'm like, I'm not
Oh, yeah.
using an authenticator app or a phone verification for a movie points reward
Right.
system. Yeah, I tried to download it just to see if I could book a VIP. And because I was going to be the evening. Normally, I go during the day when there's always seats. Like I went yesterday to watch this movie Relay, and I was the only person in the theater. Like, and I was like,
Yeah.
I went from like Home Depot, took back something, bought something, and I'm like, I want to go see a movie. What's playing? And I'm like, it's 4:15 relay starting. I'm like, well, it's about 20 minutes of previews. Walked across, went in, grabbed the popcorn. Why do we always get the dirty popcorn every time we go? I don't know. And it was actually a really good movie. Relay is super good.
I haven't heard much about it. I saw The Naked Gun in a theater with only like a couple other people, like midweek. That was fun.
Yeah,
I like
it
being
was
in the
good.
theater. Yeah, that was good too. Yeah, I'll take a look at Relay. What is that about?
This guy who was an alcoholic for whatever reason decided to set up being a professional, a non-official professional, a go-between for people who were initially going to whistleblow against like a big company, but the big company is like harassing them and trying to kill them, and then they just want to give back the info and not be killed. And they want their lives to go back to normal because they're being tracked and followed and stuff. And then this guy offers a service, and that is he's like a go-between. He's completely like off grid, switches cell phones, like he knows how to like how the all the tracking, how it works, and essentially he keeps his clients safe. But then I'm not gonna say any more. I'm gonna stop. There was
Right.
spoilers, but to say, but he keeps his clients safe and then safeguards like a ghost copy or whatever of the document that was going to be breached to make sure that the client is never hurt. But then the company is like guaranteed through whatever means like that the leak will never happen. And then the company has
Huh.
no choice because he's untraceable. I mean, sure, everybody wants this guy dead and all the documents like taken, but like he's super secretive and like watches everything he's doing and has no digital footprint. And it's kind of like how I want to be. Like I don't want to be followed. I don't want to be like tracked or anything like that. So it's like I'm like looking at how complex it is, and it's complex because this is how they get us. They make everything convenient, right? You use your fingerprint to sign into everything with Apple. Apple has your fingerprints, multiple fingerprints, I'm sure. Like if you do multiple fingers, and it saves that data, and then like it has all of your passwords and all of your logins, and we don't realize like we're just giving all of our data to Apple or whatever platform we're using. And so it's
Yeah.
like, how do we navigate the world and all the fucking platforms that exist, like our utility bills and the banks and all that stuff? We just we just have to write down our passwords, I guess, on paper. And I'm starting to wonder if that, while it used to not be the safest thing to do, I'm starting to wonder, like, I have notes of what my passwords are and I update it, but I'm starting to wonder maybe it's safer to have like an encrypted page that you carry on with you wherever you go that's like in your wallet, and you just need like a decipher. So like, a simple left shift or right shift if you can't remember. I mean, I usually like I switch my password formula to something random, which requires me to look at a piece of paper. So it's like a long word, capital letter, special character, the date. I'm not going to tell you the format of the date, but then the special character and then the time even. So it's like super long. It has all the characters. It's very hard to break with brute force because there's just so many characters. But I have to write it down if I'm not saving it to my laptop. But anyway, what I'm getting at is by saving our stuff with the keychain with Apple, it makes our life easier. But the more convenient things are, the more at risk we are.
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of like if things are centralized, theoretically, like one attacker getting one of our accounts could get all of them. But then if they're decentralized, maybe they're easier, like it's easier to lose one thing or something, but somebody can't get like all of them.
Yeah, but like companies, like there's data. I had a few data leaks with some of the platforms I was using, and but I was like, it's low impact if someone like hacks into that account. Like I don't really care. Are they going to pay my utility bill? But the thing is like if they can get access into your account, they might be able to get other details about you, and then build a portfolio on you that they can then use to steal your identity. And fraudsters are becoming more and more sophisticated. So I need to, like, what I've done so far is I'm using a platform, like, I forget what it's called, but it basically creates aliases, different emails.
Right.
It's not Photon or Proton or whatever. It's that one's paid. I want it free. But I'm starting to think like, uh,
Yeah,
I
if
guess
it's free, they're scraping some kind of data and selling it.
like it works, and so I have a password for every login. Like not a password, obviously, a different email for every login with a separate password, and it forwards to my main email. And if the company sells it or there's a breach, I know because the junk mail is being forwarded to me by this alias, and then I can just shut down the alias and be like, oh, this platform, like I can call them and be like, hey, you fucking sold my information, I have proof. And or there was a data leak. So it's like I've set this up with multiple platforms, but it's so much work, man, because we navigate a lot. Like I said, to pay our bills or to like go on Amazon or whatever we do, Cineplex. And the more platforms we use, the more rewards that we collect, the bigger our digital footprint. So my plan is, I talked about consolidating. Well, it also involves reducing my digital footprint to the bare minimum, so it can't be traced or followed.
I was thinking there should be a digital Marie Kondo for our digital selves. And I looked it up, and like Marie Kondo, one time she commented on like getting rid of digital data, but it was mostly her saying, she was like, get all your old CDs, for example. She's like, throw out your old CDs, but it was like of the era. I don't think she's got like an opinion on actual just like desktop file cleaning and like account management and stuff.
Yeah, like my partner's desktop is crazy. It hurts my eyes, and she has 100 tabs open on the internet browser, multiple accounts. That's what she switches between depending on what she's doing. I'm like, no wonder your fucking laptop is like running super slow or not like buffering or whatever. Like it's, but it's, I don't know how she finds anything, frankly.
Yeah, the desktop at least is like spatial. Like every icons kind of stay in the same spot, and that's kind of fun. But no other folder is like a spatial. It's always like an alphabet list or something. It's not like spatially organized. But I do like spatial stuff, but computers are bad at preserving that.
Yeah. The desktop for me is only like, I have a bunch of files, I need to organize them, and I organize them by like listing them in the order that I want, and I combine them into a PDF because Mac lets you do it for free. The PC, I don't know how to do that for free. People have to use a version of Adobe.
Yeah.
But like I'll sort things and then I delete them and I clear my desktop. Like I have a picture of the Earth, and that's what I want to see. So
all the files orbit the Earth as like space junk, and you clean them.
Well, I do have a couple folders. Like one is like a list of things to do. I made it so there's no title, so there's nothing, and I changed the icon to be a star, so it looks like there's a star in the background. Which is kind of cool. But I know that's a file.
Yeah, it's neat.
But yeah, like I've been putting some bandwidth into like figuring out how to simplify things on there, because I think it'd be very inconvenient if somebody stole my identity and started to like access my accounts. I mean, if you're poor and you don't fucking have anything, even still, if you have like overdraft or credit cards that people can access, you still need to care about this stuff. But it becomes even more important for if you have wealth, or if you become popular or a public figure, especially.
Must be interesting these days with, like, I bet wills contain a lot of like social media accounts. I don't know how people are managing that. Like if they know they're gonna pass away, and how do they, like, they just give a list of all their passwords, but those things reset, and the two-factor would be tied to their phone number, and it would be like like almost a lawyer would have to like contact every company and go through customer service to get the account like moved over. But then what would you even move over if it's like, what if it's a bunch of photos? Do you like export the whole account and save the photos or something? There just seems
But
like a weird amount of work there.
yeah, that's the issue I'm looking at right now. It's so if you use Willful, which I've done, they drafted my will. I have it signed remotely by a notary pro. Interesting how that works. You guys, they have a copy physical that they print.
Hmm.
You have your copy, and together you initial and sign. And then they
Huh.
send their copy to you, and you need both copies for your will to be legal. It has to be printed in Ontario, apparently. BC, you can have digital, saved somewhere, but Ontario, you need a physical will, and my will's printed, both copies, in my desk drawer.
Hmm.
So in case I go. But the thing that I'm struggling with is, yeah, the executor needs to have access to your accounts, and so like you can set up like I'm learning this like a trustee or something. Not a trustee. You can set things up with your tax accounts, like your TFSA RSP.
Yeah, those are like have always been around, but yeah, any sort of new
Well,
accounts that have some kind of value, various websites and stuff,
there's
emails.
a term that I'm looking for. I'll just pull up my phone quickly because it's saved as like something to do. But you go into the account and you make the executor, you name your executor on there and all the details so that if you do pass and they need access, it's going to facilitate things.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, there's like you can give
beneficiary.
someone can be like your like have permission to act on your behalf or something. And there's some
Mhm.
term for it, yeah.
So like I have a list of things here. So it's like ensure legal name accuracy. You have to make sure that you have the full legal names of everybody. Include a clause on market crashes because you need to allow the market to recover. You don't want to like force the executor will to sell if you have multiple beneficiaries. Specify personal property requests. Designate beneficiaries for financial accounts, which includes your TFSA, RSP, etc. Prepare for immediate financial needs, like so that you can pay for your debt immediately if you have any. Create an information docket. So this is like a compile essential account information, roll numbers, passwords, bank company names for the executor. Sell the lawyer, done, and then maintain a centralized executor notebook. Legal information easy reference for the executor. So basically, you're just gonna give them like a terms of reference for actioning your will and actioning your digital footprint and your financials and whatever. So basically, you have to like. I think that in itself, creating that could let if someone finds that, they can easily commit identity fraud because they fucking have everything.
Oh yeah. That's
They'll
true,
have
yeah.
everything. Yeah. So
Just an instruction manual on how to steal your identity.
that's what it is, man. So it's like, what do you do with that? Like, so this is what I'm trying to figure out. So it's like, I think I need to put it in a safe box somewhere and pay a small monthly fee and give the one key to me. I have one key for me, one key to my executor, and a key for my backup executor backup because I have backups. Like that's how thorough
Hmm.
willful is. And yeah, and I think maybe that way, like only the three of us have access to it. So if there's identity theft, I can look at those two and be like, what the fuck do you do?
Hmm.
I'm figuring it out. I am. I mean, like willful is good in creating the will, but like these other parts, it's how do you easily do this? It's like a lot of work, and it'd be nice if someone could just do it for me, but that's not how it works. I guess this work has to be done by the creator of the will.
Yeah, I wonder how rich people do it because they must have staffs like acting on their behalf and teams and stuff. But those people are not literally that. Like the rich person themselves would not want to be tied up with all the work day to day. They must have like I guess a family office is probably something that does that.
I have no idea, man. can only
Mm.
guess. I mean, I can imagine they have like aides, or if they're very private, maybe they just want to keep everything to themselves. The more people you have in your business, the more risk you are, right? So I think people who have a tremendous amount of wealth and money might want to keep those things to themselves and do those things with like a
At
lawyer
some
or
point,
something.
though, it's like too much. It would be like multiple companies and countries and stuff. I guess they'd
Yeah,
have a personal lawyer. Yeah, that they talk to.
yeah, they have a lawyer and an accountant. I think that would like lay everything out for them.
Yeah.
Estate planning is important, and how to be able to pass off your inheritance to people without the massive tax cuts. It bothers me that after tax dollars can be touched by the government. I get RRSPs, but
Mm.
like TFSAs and non-registered, I guess when you cash it out, yes, the government's going to want their capital gain tax, but it's like you should be able to pass those stocks as they are to your beneficiary. You shouldn't have to sell. So if I give 100% to my brother, he shouldn't.
Mm.
It shouldn't be everything sold and then he just gets cash. Like he should be able to
Right.
choose if he wants to hold on to those stocks and it just transfers to his name, and then he doesn't
Yeah, I thought
incur
there was some way to do that. I guess you could do it, but they'd have to still pay tax on the stock.
if they sold. But if they didn't sell, I think there's like a
Oh
trust
yeah,
or something to be done. But I
or like
I
something
don't
called
know.
in kind. You can like transfer in kind. They get the stock.
But let's
But I
say if you just
feel
let's say if you just had cash or you sold your home or whatever. Like I need to look into this more. You're sitting on $2 million and you're gonna give it all to your beneficiary. I'm not sure, but that should not be taxed. But apparently there's something like an estate tax, and like I need to look more into this. But if it's
yeah, I
after
think
tax dollars,
if it's not though, then you have like these giant like family dynasties that they never pay tax. They just keep like passing it on and investing.
well, the whole system is set up for them. So why
At least
should
on
they
some level.
forfeit it? Why
I
should
know
they
for like
forfeit?
your primary, if it's your primary home, I think you can avoid tax. As soon as you have like two homes or something, then you pay tax on the second one. Stuff like that.
But that's just it. So interesting you mentioned that because you die, the house is in your name, it's your primary residence. But then the name, or not the name, the house is now technically belonging to, let's say, beneficiary. What happens if that beneficiary already has a house? Now they acquire your house, and if they sell it, they incur capital gains. I don't know how that's fair.
Well, if
You
they
know,
have, I guess because there have to be some limit, or else like like one family would own all the houses or something.
but somebody has their primary residence, like it's supposed to be tax exempt if they were to
Right.
sell. So it's like, why does this tax free asset now have to be taxed because it's handed over? Like that to me is a little bit silly.
Yeah.
Now I guess maybe perhaps if they are like, when that individual dies, you sell the house, and because it's their primary house, you get all the equity, all the proceeds, and that's yours, and there's no tax. Like, then that might be more fair. But you choose to keep the house and then sell your primary as the beneficiary, capture all of that funds, and then you move into the home that you inherited because it's your family home, for instance, because this happens. When you go to sell that family home, which I don't know if they will, should you incur capital gains tax because now it's your primary residence and it was never used as a place of business before at all. So let's assume it was never used to
Mm.
generate rental income. And so these are like these scenarios I do wonder, and if the government will come for their cut. But these are for the very
Yeah.
fortunate uncle, and I'm not going to be inheriting a house because my mom lost everything and my dad has nothing, and so is what it is.
I heard an interesting idea where these parents were like, they were gonna like have a kid and then buy a house in the kid's name, so that like the baby would be the owner of the house, and therefore they could just get like, they wouldn't have to pass it on when they pass away because it's like registered. The deed is like in the kid's name.
Yeah, I heard something like that too.
Yeah.
You
But that
should
would
be
be weird
able.
if like if yeah, like how could if you're like selling the house, you'd have to like sell it on behalf of the baby and like the baby would have to sign the real estate like agreement.
I think you would, before you die, you switch the title over to the beneficiary. That should work too.
Yeah, I guess that's more like explicitly like a transfer and then something would happen. I don't know.
Yeah, well, most people are in crushing debt and not really thinking about estate planning. Sort of like
Yeah.
something down the road. So
Yeah, I heard that half of Americans can't afford like a $400 bill.
half.
And that was crazy. Like half of Americans, if they get like a $400 bill, it like throws them out of whack because they don't have like that money. They don't have $400 like lying around to pay an unexpected bill.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, it's weird to
Wow.
hear numbers like that because it's so easy these days to accidentally pay like $400. Like for me, like I went to the doctor's for 25 minutes and that was like over $500 unexpectedly. So it literally is that. It's like half of people, if half of the people in the country go to a doctor, they get a bill that's like more than ever it should be, but also more than they report being able to afford.
Yeah, Dr. Bill being $500 is criminal.
Yeah,
I think.
nearly in 2024, nearly half of Americans have $500 or less in their savings account.
Wow. I think with the amount of food that we have, the abundance of food, and civilization being what it is, and us being like, developed and fucking. Well, I'm like, what am I trying to say here? Like, just the fact that we have to pay at all for healthcare in the States, like in Canada, we still pay. We still pay for prescriptions and we don't have
Right.
insurance and still costs. But for me, that should be like a universal right to have healthcare at this point. And we should be
Yeah.
training enough doctors so that there isn't like a supply and demand issue. We train them and we compensate them well because of the amount of time that they have to put in. But they're not being compensated well because of scarcity. They're being compensated well because the government prioritizes their funding. And then everybody has the healthcare that they need, and there's not 8-hour waits at a hospital. Like, I had to go
Yeah, it's like if we're not doing that, then what are we doing? That's an interesting question. Like, what would be more important than that? But it's weird how much other things get prioritized than like keeping people alive.
while we're educating the next generation. Yeah, the conservative government here is gutting funding for healthcare and for education. Like I have nurse friends and I have teacher
Right.
friends, and they're telling me how bad it is. Like they keep getting resources cut, and that doesn't make any sense. Where are the tax dollars going, Richard? I mean,
Yeah.
we're the most heavily taxed. Like Canada is one of the most heavily taxed fucking countries in the world. Where's all the money going?
Yeah.
It wasn't the military. It wasn't healthcare. It wasn't education. What? Roads? Not in Quebec. Roads are pretty shit all around anyway. I mean, there's speed bumps on the highway because of the terrible maintenance. I had to get my radiator replaced, smacking into one of those fucking things. So it's like I'm just wondering, where's all the money going? Did the
Yeah.
politicians?
That's yeah. It's such a funny question. Yeah. Because like where there's no answer yet.
Did they sell out, and are they pocketing everything and just not held accountable? Like I don't know.
Well, I gotta head out. I'm going to another conversation.
Nice, buddy. I'm sorry for the delay.
Good to touch in. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, fucking everything was falling apart, and it's actually pretty comical how bad it was. But you know, I made it. So we'll talk to you again.
Yeah. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.